So the key now is what are the secondary and third impacts to the United States? And I said it from the get-go. I was meeting with legislators in Arizona. I said, get ready. This war that kicked off, if I remember correctly, it was September 9th. I was there like the 10th, sitting down privately, meeting with legislators in Arizona about what they need to do. Had nothing to do with that. It had to do with laws to pass. And I said, get ready. You are about to start seeing what we were seeing in Texas when the Zetas were battling the Gulf. And it's already started. You know, we had the 4 RPGs seized right there just by the Ajo station. You've had massive waves of violence. And as they begin to lose, too, another thing that everyone needs to understand is when there is a loser, they will flee. And they will flee to the United States because this is sanctuary. I mean, when the Rojos killed Metro Tres, I was working that, and we were stunned in one night. We had between 30 and 40 high-level operatives within the Rojos fleeing into the United States. And then we had kidnappings as well, taking people back into Mexico to be killed who owed money because war is expensive. And everyone needs to understand that. And so if you have family members that owe money to these drug traffickers and you live along the southern border with the United States, they will pick you up, take you into Mexico, and make you pay. We've seen that in the past. That's of course going to happen here. But what we don't know, Vince, is that this is the big cartel, man. I mean, this is the big one. This is a global problem. That's not just a Mexico alone. So what will happen in the long run? We will see things here we never saw previously. And look, the U.S. intelligence agency should be briefing the American people. The Mexican government should be talking more about this. And look, it is what it is. I mean, it's just the state of lack of leadership we have within the Homeland Security enterprise I'm talking about here. DHS, all of them, the federal leadership should be talking to the American people about this because this has a lot of ties into the U.S., especially when it comes to fentanyl coming into the country. Again, war is expensive, so they're going to have to send more product, doubling down. And look at the seizures, by the way. Let me validate that a little bit. Have you been paying attention to the seizures in Arizona? Yeah. My God. I mean, they're averaging 1 to 2 million fentanyl pill seizures in just a few days of, 1 or 2, 3 seizures now. Why? It's very simple to the folks watching because war is expensive. The problem is nobody's telling the American people, Vince.
Yeah.
It's beyond me, man.
Yeah. Well, that's why we have you here to hopefully use this platform to tell the world. Let me ask you something.
Well,
we had Ed Calderon on the show recently, and you know who he is.
Yeah, great guy, doing great work.
Absolutely. And he had his own personal opinion that El Maya was potentially connected to our own CIA. And just curious if you've heard any kind of word of that, or is there any kind of validity behind that?
Never heard anything to that. And I worked closely with the CIA when I was running operations in Texas, along with the Defense Intelligence Agency. Great people. I highly, highly doubt that. I'm going to be very frank with you.
Awesome.
Highly doubt that. Yeah, highly doubt that. These are people who would do anything they could to be able to absolutely stop the violence occurring in Mexico and the number of deaths happening in the United States. From all the field operatives I worked with, they were doing everything they could, Vince. The only discussions they may have been having with him was trying to get him here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Other than that, oh no, man, he's killed way too many people over the years.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. New York has a new president. Thoughts on, was there going to be any change, any kind of ideas that are actually going to slow this traffic down, or is it going to still be hugs, not bullets?
Still going to be hugs, not bullets, with a lot of new rhetoric. You saw last month, she put out her new security strategy for the country of Mexico. Is basically based on 4 major pillars. Those 4 pillars are better intelligence collection, better collaboration amongst National Guard and local and federal law enforcement in Mexico. And then the third one had to do with really getting to the social economical issues in Mexico that are causing the extreme violence. And then the fourth one had to do with really trying to support those communities hit hardest by the violence. Well, what the shit does any of that mean? It means nothing to the viewer but a bunch of noise. Listen, these people are training with Middle East terrorist organizations. They are training with former special forces. They leverage military-grade weapons of first, second, third, and fourth generation armored vehicles. They leverage surface-to-air missiles, RPGs, AT-4s, 50 caliber belt-fed machine guns. The list goes on, Vince. And, all the talk in the world about wanting to stop this that way, it's never going to work. And all anyone has to do is sit down with these young sicarios and the leadership within these cartels, even at the mid-level, and they will just laugh at that. So look, there's a lot of endless talk going on. The best thing we really do have going for us, though, and I do mean this, is that we have a new government in Mexico with no background, no baggage, right? We are on the verge of either way, whether President Trump or President Kamala Harris, having a new regime in the United States with no baggage in the background. Now, this is a very unique time. Remember, they have 6-year runs down there for president. We have 4, back-to-back 8. So almost within a matter of a few months, they're coming together. This is fantastic. We have the ability to start from the ground, build entire new pipelines of intelligence sharing like we had historically that has absolutely been eliminated by the AMLO administration in Mexico. All the pipelines, Vince, that we had where we were sharing with the bunker down in Mexico City or with SAMAR, which are the Mexican Marines, all of that has been decimated. Your viewers need to know that. And that's why, the other thing that's happened too is that the violence that we were really fighting along the frontera or the border region in the north back then, that was really limited to certain areas. And then, the Zetas, they went off and battled, other cartels across Mexico, but nothing, and I truly mean this, nothing like what we see in Mexico today. So they are truly battling. I monitor these battles every day on social media, what the current tripwires are, the car bomb that just went off down there that was one of the largest one we've ever seen. And I shake my head. They are losing their country. They are truly losing it now. And it's time to really be open and honest and transparent with the Mexican people, the American people, and do all we can to help save lives. Because I can tell you, as somebody that knows these cartels very well, they won't stop. They can't. They're at war. And they don't care about us, and they don't care about the Mexican government. What they fear are their rivals, as you've heard me say in the past many, many times. And so they're going to keep battling. They're going to keep making worse and more powerful strains of fentanyl mixed with xylazine, netazine, as we're already seeing, parafentanyl, serafentanyl, and the list goes on because of these wars. And so we've got to stop them. We've got to.